Okay, so one of my mutuals posted this on Twitter, and I love this prompt. It said, "This is the tussle out of these four Ariana Grande albums. Which album is the most essential to her career and who she is as an artist? Let's tussle." And so, out of all of these, I would argue Sweetener just because it was a more experimental album for her at that time. And I feel like she really needed that. Like, artists really need to experiment, early in their career so they don't get, typecast as, oh, you only make this kind of music. And I feel like that's what Sweetener was for Ariana. She's working with Pharrell, she was working with Max Martin once again, and we got great songs out of it. We got No Tears Left to Cry, which is still a staple. Everyone still loves God is a Woman. Rem is like my favorite Ariana Grande song. I really love Get Well Soon. The vocal layering on that, that has to be one of the best songs in her discography for sure. Borderline with Missy Elliott gets a lot of hate, but that was always one of my favorites on the album. I think if she didn't release this album, I think that her career would be different for sure. You have to take that artistic risk, and that's what she did with Sweetener. And it's very divisive. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I still think that it is her best album. And you definitely need an album like that in your discography as an artist, in my opinion. You could say Dangerous Woman because that was her basically saying, I'm a woman now, as people have done multiple times over. Think about Miley Cyrus being her, think about Britney self titled. So it's important her discography in that way. And, great songs in here. I really loved Be Alright. I also love Into You. That is one of the best pop songs of all time, and that should have been a number one single, of course. Sometimes is another one of my favorites on this album as well. I Don't Care is an underrated track on this album. So there was a lot of great songs on this album, honestly, and so it's also very important. And then Thank You Next, that was her peak era having the songs. Thank You Next, Seven Rings was a huge song as well. Break Up With Your Girlfriend on Board should have been bigger because that was low key a hit. And then I also really enjoyed other songs in here such as Ghostin'. Very personal moment for her on this album for sure. NASA has always been one of my favorites on this album. Imagine was a great opener. And yeah, for a lot of people, this is their pop Bible. For Ariana, I would say it's Sweetener, but to each their own. And this serves an important part in her discography as well. And then he had the debut. And I mean, I like the debut. You have to start off the career, very R&B focused with songs like Baby I, which was a great one, Honeymoon Avenue, The Way was a really great way to launch off their career, really. And, she did put Your Hearts Up, but we all ignored that because that wasn't the real start for her. Everyone knows it was The Way with Mac Miller, and that was a great song. And so, yeah, I feel like I would probably rank these, like I said, number one, Sweetener, in my opinion. Number two, I would probably say Dangerous Woman. Number three, I would probably say Thank You Next, and then number four, the debut. And, looking back at it, you could probably switch Thank You Next with Dangerous Woman if you want to. But I don't know. I think I'm okay with the order, but I could see it going either way for those. But I'm confident in one and four. And honestly, I'm surprised that he didn't put My Everything on here. I would have said My Everything over the debut because that was whenever she really went into the pop gear. She had songs like Break Free, which was a pop hit to me, and I love that song, especially the bridge on that. And some other great songs in here, like Be My Baby was a great song, Problem was a hit, though Focus is better, but it wasn't on the album. And then I also love like My Everything, the song, for example, Just a Little Bit of Your Heart. Like, this is Ariana really going into, her pop moment. And yeah, so I think basically all of her albums are important to her career in a different way. I think it's just a matter of which one you think is the most important. But like I said, I'm going Sweetener every time. I really am. She needed that. But I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments on this topic and why. Also, let's dream eternal sunshine like he's saying. I have a reaction to it on my YouTube channel, Anastasia25, if you want to check out my initial thoughts on it. And then in a few weeks, I'm going to do my updated opinions on it and talk about it. But yes, let's continue this conversation down below in the comments.